Good. All right. Right now, the topic of the day for the last couple weeks: gun control. I want to start off by saying, rest in peace to the victims of the Buffalo mass shooting and the shooting at school the other day. Uvade, I don't want to pronounce it wrong. I'm sorry if I did. Those children. And, rest in peace to all the other people who were shot in mass shootings that never made national news. Because by definition, a mass shooting is any shooting where four or more people get shot. Which means mass shootings happen daily. Pick a city. You can take like Philly, Chicago, New York, St. Louis. Some of the take your top 10 major cities. And between just those cities alone, there was probably at least one mass shooting every day. But they don't get covered the same. Um, and in these cities, it's also typically very hard to get a gun for most people. Now, for the type of mass shootings that do get covered, like the ones we've seen recently, those typically happen in either gun-free zones, i.e., schools, places like that, or like in the Buffalo instance, where and there's parts of the manifesto that make me question it. I'm not denying that the shooting occurred, but I have questions within the manifesto. Um, but he specifically said he targeted Buffalo because there's strict gun laws, and they knew he'd be met with the least resistance. People will say, "Oh well, the one armed security guard engaged him, but it didn't work out well for him." Well, that's one security guard. If there's one security guard and 5, 6 other people spread out, all raining bullets on him, vest or no vest, them shots are gonna affect him. They gonna throw him off, and at some point he might say, "You know what? Fuck it. This ain't gonna work. I'm out." Um, that's just a fact. Um, Now, unfortunately, we have politicians who like to use these tragedies and push their own political agendas. Um, and it's like that with any tragedy. For example, at 9/11, the countries we've invaded since then, we've long wanted to invade. We just needed reasons and justifications, and, well, that was given to us. The Ghost War on Terror. Um, so this is nothing unique to either party. Both will capitalize on a tragedy to push a political agenda. And I think that is disgusting. Um, Now, you have a lot of people who say, background checks. Well, background check wouldn't have stopped this one. Kid took a background check. And they'll say, oh, well, maybe we should just ban the rifles. Okay, yeah, you could do that. But you can already buy rifles on the black market. See, that's the other thing. If the kid would have got denied from the background check, he could have gone to the street and still got the guns. say, well, if we do as many buybacks and confiscate as much as we can, and cartels are going to see that as another black market that they can exploit. They'll start shipping guns over the border too. They probably already do. And we can't stop all the drugs coming over. We're going to stop the guns now too. You know, so, and then my issue with background checks, um, for example, 2 weeks ago, to date, I bought 2 guns. I'm waiting on the background check. You know, I have other guns, so I'm not worried about anything. I don't feel like I'm in immediate danger or nothing. But what about a woman who leaves an abusive partner, moves out, goes out to hide out on her own, says, you know what, I'm gonna get a gun to protect myself just in case, for when he comes looking for me. Well, she's got to wait 2 weeks. There's a good chance she don't make it. That's why I have issues with background checks. Because there are some people out there who, when they go to buy a gun, they are in dire need of one, because their life is in immediate danger. And, that wait could be the difference between life and death for them. So that and the fact that there is already a black market in existence, that's why I oppose background checks. There was actually a story recently. I'd have to look up where it was. But a woman was being threatened, and she went and bought an AR off the street. When they showed up, when the other women who were threatening her showed up to her house, she went out with that AR, fired a shot in the air. The woman took off. She was arrested. I have mixed feelings about her getting arrested. I'm hoping she's not getting any possession charges. I don't feel she should get a possession of the firearm charge. However, shooting your gun into the air is dangerous. What goes up must come down. Now, granted, a shot into the air, I don't know what the odds are of it coming down and hitting someone, but if it does, one, you got to live with that. Two, then it is negligence. I would have felt better if she would have just fired a round into one of her attackers, and then pointed to the other one, said, still want to play? Something like that. Or, or even straight into the ground, so long as it's grass and it's not going to hit concrete and ricochet, stuff like that. But even still, if just pulling it out hasn't done anything to deter them, a shot in the chest will change someone's mind real quick. Now, okay, so we covered the background checks, banning of ARs. Oh yes, and then there's also issues of this 3D printable guns. That also makes background checks kind of irrelevant. Just gun laws in general are designed to make it harder because most people who go out and do stuff like this, or who intend on committing crime with their gun, aren't gonna buy it legally at a store where it's tied to their name. Because police run the ballistics. It doesn't go straight to your name. No, it goes to the gun manufacturer, who will know which gun it was. They'll tell them who they sold it. I mean, it's a rigmarole, but it does eventually come to you. Because it goes to They go to the gun manufacturer. Gun manufacturer says, all right, that gun went to this store. They go to that store. The store says, well, this gun went to this person. That's you. So most guns people buy at a store aren't used in these type of things. Um, and then, say by some miracle they were able to get the black market under, non-existent and wipe out the guns. There's other ways. People who want to go out and commit heinous acts like this, there's other ways they can do it. Waukesha was just 6 months ago. A dude plowed through a parade with a SUV. There was the Nice, France person who got in a truck, plowed through a crowd. I believe killed and wounded 80 something people. Hell, you mix a couple mix the right chemicals in a 2-liter bottle, shake it up, loosen the cap, toss it into a crowded hallway. You're gonna wipe out some people. IED. There's someone wants to go out and do a heinous act like this, they're gonna be able to do it. Personally, if I had my choice, someone getting behind the car, or because police, they tried to stop the Waukesha driver, but at some point they had to stop shooting because they were putting people in danger. But someone's gonna get behind the wheel and do some shit, or IED, or chemical, or gun. If I have my choice and I'm gonna be a part of a potential victim, I'd rather them come with a gun, because if they have a gun and I have a gun, I can shoot back. If they have an IED, I just blow up. If they throw a chemical mixture, I just breathe and I die. If they have a car, even if they coming straight at me, even if I shoot them, if they don't hit the wheel or anything like that in the right amount of time, I'm still gonna fly. So yeah, these incidents are tragic. However, one, there's no way you can 100% guarantee that you can, remove all the guns and keep them all removed. Because like I said, they can't keep drugs out of the country. How are they going to keep guns? Even England, they have, strict gun laws. Yet, some still get smuggled in. Now, they're on an island, so it's a little bit harder. But I mean, I say there's metric tons of drugs flowing through our borders daily. All they gotta do is, they need guns up there. Some of our guys need guns. Okay, let's start bringing some of them too, which just gives them more money and more power. So that's why I oppose any type of gun control. And it's not because I don't care about little kids or anything like that. It's because I understand that the idea of, one, removing all the guns from the country and from, all the citizens and the criminals too, because, you got, if you're not gonna disarm them, show up at their houses and take all their shit too. Well, then it's just all criminals, whether it's the criminals in government or criminals on the street that have guns, and the rest of us we're at their mercy. But yeah, so I have this clip here from Mark Robinson. I believe now he is the Lieutenant Governor of North Carolina. But he gave this speech several years ago, and it just hits hard. So let's go ahead and play this.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't have time to
You have to give us your name.
I'm sorry. My name is Mark Robinson. I live at 4015 Sassafras Court. That's right here in Greensboro. I've lived in Greensboro all my life. I didn't have time to write a fancy speech. I didn't have time to, I didn't have the resource of an English teacher to sit down and write a speech with at school today and be, brought over here or practice or anything. What I really came down here for is this. I've heard a whole lot of people in here talking tonight about this group and that group, and domestic violence and blacks, these minorities and that minority. What I want to know is, when are you all going to start standing up for the majority? And here's who the majority is. I'm the majority. I'm a law-abiding citizen who's never shot anybody, never committed a serious crime, never committed a felony. I've never done anything like that. But it seems like every time we have one of these shootings, nobody wants to put the blame where it goes, which is at the shooter's feet. You want to put it at my feet. You want to turn around and restrict my right, constitutional right that's spelled out in black and white. You want to restrict my right to buy a firearm and protect myself from some of the very people you're talking about in here tonight. It's ridiculous. I don't think Rod Serling could come up with a better script. It does not make any sense. The law-abiding citizens of this community and many communities around this country, we're the first ones taxed and the last ones considered and the first ones punished when things like this happens, because our rights are the ones that are being taken away. That's the reason why I came down here today. Gun show or no gun show, NRA or no NRA. I'm here to stand up for the law-abiding citizens of this community, because I'm going to tell you that what's going to happen. You can take the guns away from us all you want to. You all write a law, I follow the law, I'll bring my guns down here, I'll turn them in. But here's what's going to happen. The Crips and the Bloods on the other side of town, they're not going to turn their guns in. They're going to hold on to them. And what's going to happen when you have to send the police down there to go take them? The police can barely enforce the law as it is. As what I see, we demonize the police, criminalize and vilify the police, and we make the criminals into victims. And we're talking about restricting guns? How are you going to do that? How are you going to do that when the police department's already hamstrung? You're not going to be able to go down here and take these guns from these criminals. So the criminals are going to hold on to their guns. They're still going to have them. They're still going to break in my house, and they're still going to shoot me with them. And guess who's going to be the one that suffers? It's going to be me. Well, I'm here to tell you tonight, it is not going to happen without a fight. And when I say fight, I don't mean shots fired. I don't mean fist thrown. I mean, I'm going to come down here to this city council and raise hell just like these loonies from the left do until you listen to the majority of the people in this city. And I am the majority. The majority of the people in this city are law-abiding, and they follow the law, and they want their constitutional right to be able to bear arms. They want to be able to go to the gun show and buy a hunting rifle or sport rifle. There are no military-grade weapons sold at the gun show, and AR-15 is not.
He is a little bit wrong when he says that, and let me tell you why. Technically, my Glock 17 that I have, it's technically a military-grade firearm. It's been used in the military before, whether here in the U.S. or around the world. However, that's just a pistol. I know when people talk about weapons of war and they are talking about the AR-15 generally, but I mean, when they say weapons of war, does that include my Glock? You'd be hard-pressed to find a gun that hasn't been used in a war. That's why, like I said, I can't get behind any type. Give them an inch, they'll take a mile. Just like a child.
A military-grade weapon. Anybody that would go into combat with an AR-15 is a fool. It's a semi-automatic 22 rifle. You'd be killed in 15 minutes in combat with that thing. So we need to dispel all these myths, and we need to drop all this division that we got going on here. Because the bottom line is, when that Second Amendment was written, Whether the framers liked it or not, they wrote it for everybody. And I am everybody. And the law-abiding citizens of this city are everybody. And we want our rights, and we want to keep our rights. And by God, we're going to keep them, come hell or high water.
Yeah. He understands. Um, I can't say if they wrote a law that banned guns. I can't say I would do the same and just go turn mine in. Oh shit, yeah, those got stolen. But like he said, the law abiding the people who want to be law abiding citizens will go turn theirs in. The people who already don't care about the laws, they won't. Here in my state, come July, we won't be able to buy anything above a 10-round magazine. Think the person going to rob a store gives a fuck about a 10-round magazine limit? You think some nutcase going to fucking shoot some shit up gives a fuck about a 10-round magazine limit? No, all you're doing is making it so that the people who would be returning fire at these people, they're at a disadvantage. So that's where I stand when it comes to gun rights. And, like I said, it's not because I hate kids and want to see kids hurt. I think there are solutions that, I've heard offered up in regards to, schools and how to keep them safe. Some of those I think should be tried before we try, going another route where, because that's one thing is, the people who are calling for these guns to be grabbed, they won't be volunteering to go grab them. And that's in my opinion, that is the same chicken hawk mentality of people who advocate for a war that they won't go fight in. So, yeah. Again, rest in peace to everybody, man, that's died over the last couple weeks. Whether it was the guns, knives, fists, car accident, cause we are looking at a minute cause of death. Yeah, there's like what 30 to 40,000 gun deaths every year, but like, 80% of that is suicide, which, considering the trend in this general area, something that people like to do here to commit suicide is jump off a bridge onto a freeway. So if I have the choice, if this person's gonna off themselves one way or another, I'd rather shoot themselves in their bathtub than jump onto a fucking freeway during rush hour traffic or on a Saturday afternoon, which has happened. It's gonna traumatize you're gonna traumatize a whole bunch of kids who are gonna have to see that, like, that you're putting people in danger, like, nah. So, and again, I'm not advocating for people to kill themselves. I'm just saying, if they're gonna do it one way or another, let them do it in private privacy of their own home, and not what people, like I said, out here like to do, jump onto a freeway. You know, that puts other people at life at risk as well. Uh, but yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. Um, where do you stand? Do you want gun control, little bit of gun control, lot of gun control, grab all the guns, or more like me, where add more lean on mandating a gun in every household. Um, you know, you'd certainly see home invasions go way down if it's guaranteed that there's guns in the house and people are home. You're not going to go in there unless you go in there with a small army. And at that point, what are you going to get in value that makes it worth it? Um, if you're splitting it up amongst that many people. Uh, but yeah, let me know where you stand out in the comments. Um, Let me know what you thought about Mark Robinson's address to the city council. Other than that, y'all have a nice night. Thanks for watching. Stay blazing and stay safe.